you. If you have a cell phone, if you'll please turn it to silent for the courtesy of all who are in here. And hopefully we'll have another commissioner, 2 more commissioners who come in late, but we'll get started with the meeting. And we will begin with an invocation from Mr. Charles Chandler.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for allowing us to live in this country and this community. We pray, Father, for wisdom for our president and his cabinet and staff, and we pray for protection for our military personnel who are in harm's way even today. Father, we pray for our community and pray that you continue to bless our community and help us as a board to make decisions that would be right for all those concerned. And we just continue to hope that our lives honor and glorify you. We love you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. You'll place the flag and salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item on the agenda is the approval or the amendment of the minutes from the last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Bath. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Minutes are approved as written. First item on the agenda tonight. Concrete Enterprises, LLC, has applied for a variance from Section 1406, the asphalt or concrete plant, which is a temporary or permanent permit. All buildings or structures shall be 1,000 feet from any residence. The property is located at 12139 Highway 301 South, and Mr. Gohagan will be acting as agent. All right, Mr. Loach.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we have Concrete Enterprises who has submitted this application for a variance to Section 1406, which states all buildings or structures shall be 1,000 feet away from any residence. And with the proposed plan, the plant will be a total of 416 feet from the nearest residence. This is it on the map, which shows it is south of Statesboro on Highway 301 South. And then here's the zoning map, which shows it is zoned highway commercial, but it was just rezoned to heavy industrial at the last commissioner meeting. Here's an aerial of the parcel. This is the site plan that you were presented with last planning and zoning meeting. And then here's photos of the sign, which is north of the property, east of the property, west of the property, and then south of the property. And then here's the site plan again. And the staff does recommend conditions if approval is granted, and they are listed in the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Gohagan.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Chris Gohagan with Talby Rushing, pleased to join you again on behalf of Concrete Enterprises. As Mr. Loach mentioned, this is the same project you saw last month, just in how the application was submitted. The variance came after the rezone request. The only thing that has changed since you looked at this last month is there is a new condition suggested by staff in terms of how we're going to apply vegetation to this 30-foot wide, 10-foot tall berm, which will be fenced and vegetated. And those conditions are acceptable to the owners, just as the prior conditions were. You considered the application, and we appreciate that you voted 6-0 to recommend it for approval by County Commission, and want to report they did approve it 6-0 at their meeting. So again, it's the same project. I and the team are here. Every element of the project is represented tonight. Happy to answer any questions you have. Want to be respectful of your time and everyone else's time, and not belabor the issue. So with that, we'll reserve the balance of our time.
All right, Mr. Davis and Mr. Smith have signed up to speak. Did they want us to come forth and say anything?
I don't have anything unless any questions.
All right, are there any questions from this board? We have seen this before, it's true. So for that, with no questions, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Got a motion to approve. Is there a second from Betsy? All those in favor? With no more discussion, the variance is approved. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay. Item number 2 on the agenda tonight. Josh Rogers has submitted an application for a conditional use in order to permit a liquor store. The property is located at 17067 Highway 67, Suite B, C, and D. Mr. Singh will be acting as agent. This is a legislative decision, so it will be heard, our recommendation will be heard before the county commissioners on April the 7th at 5:30 in this room for a final decision. All right, Mr. Loach.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we have Josh Rogers, who has submitted this application for a conditional use in order to permit a liquor store. Property is located on Highway 67. Let's see. Here's the property on the map, which shows that it is south of Statesboro in the suburban neighborhood character area. This is the zoning map, which shows it is zoned highway commercial. And this is an aerial of the parcel. And then this is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. This is a photo of the sign looking west into the property, and then north of the property, south of the property, and then east of the property. I'm gonna go back to the site plan, and the staff recommends approval with conditions.
All right, Mr. Singh, is that how?
Actually, Mr. Singh is not here, so I'm going back to him.
Can you state your name?
My name is Gabby Lores.
Gabby Lores.
To spell all Lores. He's unfortunately out of the country and he couldn't come back, so he sent something. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak today. Firstly, we want to thank all the members for approving our first liquor store, which is called Busway. Today we are here for a proposal to open a second store in the county. We have over 15 years of experience in this business, and we have always done well in serving our customers from Bullock and the surrounding counties. By spreading demand across 2 locations, we can better service the public while maintaining responsible oversight and compliance with all local and state regulations. A second liquor store will provide convenience for residents, create jobs, and contribute to our local economy. Also, it will promote the growth of the surrounding businesses and the Plaza Shopping Center. We are confident that if we get approval today, we can operate this second location and successfully as our first location while contributing to our local community. Therefore, I respectfully ask the board to consider these benefits and support the approval of a second liquor store in our county. Thank you for your time.
All right, have you seen the condition that's been added and you approve?
You approve?
It says all solid waste receptacles shall be placed on concrete foundations and screened from view from the street and adjacent parcels by an opaque fence at a height that is no less than the height of the receptacle.
Okay.
Do you agree to that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are there any questions from this board? All right, then is there a motion of recommendation?
I'll move to accept it with the condition.
All right, we have a motion to accept. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from Mr. Bath. All those in favor? We will recommend to the county commissioners the approval with this condition on April 7th at 5:30.
All right. Thank you.
Item number 3 on the agenda. CS Bunce Enterprises LLC has submitted an application to rezone approximately 10.81 acres from Ag 5 to Highway Commercial for the purpose of operating an automotive sales and rental facility. The property is located on Highway 67. Again, Mr. Porthras will be acting as agent, and again, this is a legislative decision, so it'll be heard finally from the county commissioners on April 7th. All right, Mr. Loach.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we have CS Bunce Enterprises, who has submitted this application to rezone 10.81 acres from Ag 5 to Highway Commercial. And it is located on Highway 3, or excuse me, it's on Highway 67. That's a mistake. Okay. Here it is on the map, which shows it is on Highway 67, and it is within the Georgia 67 character area. It is zoned Ag 5 currently. And here's an aerial of the parcel. And they're requesting to rezone this portion down here. Here is showing the portion that they're requesting to be rezoned. Here is a site plan that was submitted by the applicant. And then here's a photo of the sign, which shows west into the property, north of the property, south of the property, and then east of the property. And the staff recommends approval of the request with conditions which are listed in the staff report. And here's the site plan again.
Okay, all right, Mr. Porthras.
Thank you, Mr. Loach. Good evening, Commissioners. Ryan Poythress with Pape Dawson. I'll be the civil engineer of record on this project. As Mr. Loach stated, we're seeking to rezone approximately 10.81 acres of the overall tract of land here. Representing CS Bunce, the owner of the property, from Ag 5 to Highway Commercial. And one correction, instead of, falls in the same category, but automotive sales, this is for the future home of Custom Marine. So a longtime Statesboro business. And so it will be geared towards watercraft sales, sales floor for them as well as storage in the rear and service as well. So Custom Marine is hoping to provide a easier, safer access location for this area versus their existing one. They're a little bit landlocked over there, but to get traffic in and out of, pulling trailers. I'd like to note that, this site is just down the street from, just down 67 from the Spivey property that was rezoned back in December, I believe, is when that was approved at Board of Commissioners. So this will follow suit. The proposed building's roughly 20,000 square foot, give or take. They're going to be served by well and septic. There's no wetlands on site. Site is already cleared. And there's also an existing turn lane and curb cut out there along Highway 67 for use for this property. So after review of the recommended conditions by staff, we are okay with most of those, but I am going to ask Mr. Pope for clarification on a few of those, specifically 6, 7, and 8. The owner is specifically looking to use pre-engineered metal building for this development. And I have a photo I can share you guys as well, but the intent is to provide something along the lines of the new Franklin building that was built in Statesboro, the Collision Center, and then also the Blanchard Equipment site. So even though they're metal buildings, they're upscale, they're good-looking buildings. My only question is on 6, 7, and 8, those lead me to believe that it's more of a requirement to have a masonry or brick building with some of those conditions on there. Stone veneer on the metal building's a little bit difficult to do, plus with, some window glazing requirements and roll-up doors. Just kind of want clarification for what you guys are looking there, and if that is to be the front facade only, or if that's, all 4 sides of the building as well, so.
All right, Mr. Pope, can you address?
Yes, Madam Chair. Well, as number 8, I think states, all building facades shall consist of the primary and secondary material. But I'm not aware of any problem that you would have in putting brick front on a red iron building or whatever it says.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think in speaking to character of, and why we're looking at doing architectural features, particularly along 67, is we're, as a community, not really looking for the US 301 South look as you come into town. So it's been talked about in the comprehensive plan process and all to have 67 as a scenic corridor and where development is along certain intersections, which I think this property in relation to the Emmett Grove Road intersection and future growth I think this property is about the extent south of what you would really want to go for commercial in consideration of that intersection. But I do think that as we build out, having architectural features along 67 is going to be beneficial. And until we get an overlay placed on, on that corridor, this is just kind of be the way it is by condition. But, yeah, I think it would meet the comprehensive plan's intent to have architectural features consistent with this condition.
All right.
No, and I would say that would be no matter the use.
Okay.
It's on the front facade though, correct? Not all the way
All the way
around?
around?
Well, number 8 would be all building facades, so, I mean, that would be up to you all. I mean, if you wanted to
To reword
change the
that?
percentage or whatever on the sides, that might be, something you could
Could be
look
worded
at.
as
but-
constructed on the front.
I'm sorry?
The sentence be rewritten as just the front facade? Or do you want more
I
than
mean, if
that?
that's how y'all wanted to do it,
Will that preserve the look that you're trying to go for that corridor?
how big is this building?
20,000 square foot is what I think that's the max that he's looking at. So it's all going to depend on, the cost of construction for this facility. I mean, if it's got to be a fully brick metal building or fully brick masonry, style building, it's going to get a lot smaller, so.
Is there a way to wrap it around for a certain distance of the building so that it's,
And I can share too, if you guys want to look. This is one that Mr. Massey shared with me. Another building that he's got contacts with that's actually out in Colorado that he's intending
Yeah, I see
to
this.
kind of make it look like. But it will have, the front glass facade for your showroom and everything, entrance, and then roll-up doors in the rear for the service. So, on the roll-up door side, you're not going to have the full brick coverage and things on those doors because you can't do that on a roll-up door. But that's our biggest question is it just the front or all the way around? So, but that's not, that's what he's looking to do. But of course, he's willing to work with, whatever we have to do. So,
Any other questions from this board?
So could we put in 7 roll-up doors? You said that's what he's gonna do. Put in the condition that the roll-up doors have to face the rear of the building. Be in the rear of the building, that help. Could you do some type of shrubbery or something if you're gonna allow the sidewalls out of metal to break it up, like those Leland cypress or something like that,
well, and
type shrubs to.
Mary, will you go back to I know we've sent 2 concepts, so there's this one and there's one more that I think showed the building elongated. I don't know if it was in the staff report, but I'm not sure if you got it up there or not. There, that one is so the first intent is to have the building perpendicular to Highway 67. So your front would actually face south along 67. Your side would be adjacent to 67. And then your roll-up doors would be on the rear, which would be visible coming north, or going, I guess, from north to south via 67. So that's the question that's his preferred layout. If we were to go with the other one you had up there, Mary, where the building actually faces Highway 67, it's a little different. So it depends on what final layout that he wants to go with. And since, non-binding site plan, we're not going to be held to that, but we do want to make sure that the conditions that we talk about reflect, which of the 2 he's going to prefer to go with. So I will say that, but.
As we build out that corridor, and I know this is a DOT issue, not one for the county, but will there be in a possibility or frontage road, or how will these, if he's facing sideways,
Yep.
then when you're coming through town, you're not gonna see anything aesthetically pleasing to draw you in if it's faced sideways.
And there will be a frontage road. That's one of the conditions on this, is to provide access, because we've got the only median cut there in front of us. There's another one down, I think, closer to Mr. Spivey's property. But we'll have to have access between the 2 just because of GDOT. We're not going to get a driveway at every location. So that will be part of this. But like I said, that's his preferred layout, but he's not against the other one. So it's just a question of what are the conditions going to lead us to say that this is the best way, the best facade that's going to face the roadway. That's kind of the question.
I don't think coming into town, you'd want to see all that open with them working on boats and stuff in there.
So we could condition it to come back as a conceptual site plan that's approved by this board. And then, with architectural renderings, y'all could approve that.
Yeah.
And, then I guess we have to look at, we say 75% brick on, or masonry siding on all sides. If you wanted to do 50% down the sides, back a certain distance of the building or something like that. I mean,
Why don't we condition it for a site
some
plan and then we
landscaping
can
in there.
discuss this when it comes back? Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, made it further down the line. We can discuss the percentage of brick and metal at a later date.
Yep. And
I'm good with that.
there is a condition in there, I think, to have the conceptual site plan to be approved. I believe, if the way I'm reading that's correct. And that is number,
20, I mean, there's like 20, 20 of them, so yes.
I know, I thought I saw it in there. I may be wrong, James. Am I reading that incorrect?
See, number 11, that, I mean, the building facing side to, towards like Mr. Spivey's, if I understand right, doesn't give you a very pleasant view. You're looking
Oh, number 4.
Can,
politically pleasing for that corridor to face the building to the front, to the road, would it not?
can we leave the conditions the same and add 21 for a conceptual site plan, and then we can discuss any changes at that point?
Yep.
Jeff? James?
yeah, I'm looking at number 4 there, making sure that does not cover that. So, yeah,
See what you're saying. It's additional, so.
we could add for, prior
add
to
number
building
21.
permit, or
Yeah.
trying to think how we'd place it, but, prior to development permits, a conceptual site plan approval by Planning and Zoning Commission is required.
So we're adding that condition.
Yeah.
Number 21.
Yeah.
Does that sound,
Yeah, let's add that, and then we can discuss, I mean, who knows, construction costs might go way down or it might go way up
Positioning.
before then, so.
Right. And positioning, yeah.
So finalize the layout, is that, can we, if we develop plans and move forward with it, can we submit plans to the county for review while we're waiting on that, just to keep from holding them up, or is that?
We
You
can
know,
still,
do
we'll
we
still
need-
hear the rezone. I mean,
So that would be after it's
after
out.
the rezoning.
after the
you would,
rezone's been,
yeah.
has been approved.
Come back with architectural renderings and.
Renderings and a concept plan, okay, and a finalized concept plan,
Correct.
okay. All right,
But again, if the condition states that percentage, then that's what we're gonna expect for the concept to come in. I mean, I guess if you,
I would say let's leave it.
okay.
so could we add to 6, 7, and 8 then, in that case, that instead of change the percentage or saying front only or side, that we base it on, or as approved by architectural renderings presented? That way, if they don't meet that exactly, but we've looked at it, we like the conceptual site plan, and we have a rendering that we feel comfortable with, just because of the door locations, if they don't have the amount of brick or something like that, then they could be approved without, if it's not 100% per that condition. I just don't want to pigeonhole them into something they can't do.
Well, didn't we say you could put like 25, or you said 50%, but even 25% wraparound from the front? But again, that would be having the front facing, that would still be the positioning of the building.
Got to be careful about the precedent we set here too now. We're just new and.
And you don't want to individualize every.
No.
Obviously, staff's comfortable with what our recommendation is, but I just,
Okay.
I would say we leave it the way it is, and then
Okay.
we'll just make a decision. Once you have a better idea of.
Once we have a final site plan. Okay.
Because if it's gonna face the road, then we can probably find a bunch of ways to make it work.
Yep.
But if it's not, then there'll probably be a lot more
Be
discussion.
different.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. That works.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion?
Motion to approve with the
Add-
21 conditions, with the extra condition.
Is there a second?
Second one.
For Mr. Lane, all right, all those in favor? We will recommend approval with the conditions and added condition before the county commissioners.
Thank you very
April
much.
tw-
Y'all
April
have a great
7th,
night.
5:30. Thank you, Mr. Porthers. All right. Item number 4, Jeff Lanier has submitted an application to rezone approximately 8.5 acres from R80 to Ag 5 for the purpose of operating a nursery and a garden center. The property is located at 1211 Pulaski Road. Mr. Powell will be acting as agent. And again, this is a legislative decision to be a final decision on April 7th. All right, Mr. Loach.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we have Jeff Lanier, who has submitted this application to rezone 8.5 acres from R80 to Ag 5 for the purpose of operating a nursery and garden center. And the property is located on Pulaski Road, which is west of Statesboro in the suburban neighborhood character area. Here is the zoning map, which shows it's zoned R80 currently. And here's an aerial of the parcel. This is the site plan submitted by the applicant, and then this shows the acreage that they are requesting to rezone. And then I'll come back to this photo. And then this is a photo of the property showing south into the property, and then we have west of the property, east of the property, and then north of the property. And here's that site plan again, and the staff recommends approval with conditions.
All right, Mr. Powell?
Thank you, Mr. Loach. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Brian Powell. I'm the owner of Southern Scapes Nursery, and with the approval, we will be planning to add a location here at 1211 Pulaski.
So you're adding a location.
At this moment, that's our intent. So as outlined in the staff report, this request is consistent with the surrounding land uses, aligns with the suburban corridor character area, and has been recommended for approval with conditions. We agree with that overall assessment and believe that this is an appropriate and low-impact use for the property. From a land use standpoint, the site is well suited for agriculture-based commercial activity. It is surrounded by a mix of agriculture, residential, and nearby commercial zoning. And this type of use serves as a natural transition between those patterns. This property's size, layout, and frontage makes it less ideal for traditional subdivision, but it's well suited for a nursery operation. In terms of impact, this is a low-intensity use. As noted in the staff analysis, there are no anticipated impacts to schools, utility, traffic, or public safety. This will be a well-maintained, visually appealing property with minimal impervious surface and limited daily traffic compared to many other permitted uses. Beyond that, we believe that this project provides a positive benefit to the community. In addition to contributing to the tax base, we plan to create a space that is aesthetically pleasing and community-oriented. Our vision includes offering educational classes, hosting engagement opportunities for assisted living groups such as Bethany and Willow Pond, and providing opportunities for school field trips in both public and private schools in Bullock County. We have also taken the time to study similar operations, including visiting nurseries throughout the country in similar communities, to ensure that what we bring to this site is both high quality and thoughtfully designed. We have some reference images that we'd like to share now, Mr. Loach. Okay, so this one here is the front of a nursery that we visited. The building here is what we would propose to have facing the bypass. You can keep going, Mr. Pope, thank you. That's just a closer image there. Would be what the back will look like, so this would be not facing any roads, but you could probably see a good portion of it driving from west to east on Pulaski approaching the bypass. And this is just some interiors. We are essentially going to model this exact plan here. So we would like to just share those with you so you can get a general concept. And that'll be very similar as well. And that right there, you can hold that one. So that would serve as like a pavilion, like I just mentioned about doing some educational classes and whatnot. So just want to throw that out there as you guys are thinking through. And that should do it, okay? We have, so regarding the proposed conditions, we appreciate the staff's work and agree with many of them as they align with our vision for a clean, professional, and attractive development. We would, however, like to respectfully request clarification or reconsideration on a few items. So number 3, areas for outdoor storage, truck parking, loading and unloading, refuse collection or compaction or similar uses shall not be visible from a public right-of-way. I did speak with Ms. Deloach, excuse me, just before this, and she said that the trucks would not be an issue. Is that correct? So, yes, ma'am. That's, well, our company, all of our fleet trucks is what it would be.
Just, I guess, for clarification, how many trucks do you operate as far as what would be located here?
On average, there would be about 15 trucks staged there every afternoon.
And then those would be at the lower, it says landscape shop?
The south end, yeah, that south end box, correct, yes, sir.
So that'd be more or less viewable from the bypass?
Yeah, the bypass only, correct.
Okay.
Would like just chain link fence with screening on it or a wooden fence suffice for them to be parked behind?
With some vegetative buffer, I think
Or vegetative buffer, either one?
that's probably doable for a landscaper.
Yeah, we
But,
can find something.
yeah, but yeah, if you could just kind of screen it with, typically we call for like a 6-foot screen or buffer, so vegetative buffer.
But a lot of these are box trucks, are they not?
Yes, ma'am. And they're very neat, clean, you know, we keep all new, well-maintained vehicles, so it's not like we'll have vehicles that aren't running with no engines, just sitting out there rotting. So it's a very professional, clean look that we intend.
They would just be there weekend or nights
Closing.
when
Yes, sir.
they're not in use.
That is correct.
I mean, I think, to your point, I think if they were screened in some way with a vegetative buffer,
Or would be
You agree
sufficient?
with that, some type of green buffer put them behind?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I would agree to that.
We need to add that, have approved screening devices suffice, or need to clarify further? Approved,
yeah, I mean, I think our ordinance kind of
that covers it, I think that's sufficient.
gives us leeway in how we look at it, but is what I'm saying now is
Just, I'll leave it up to James to make sure it's.
we would just follow the ordinance and how, we're talking, you know, again, 1 or 2 row of, I'm not a plant person, so I don't know, but, we'd look in the ordinance and figure out whether it's a 5-foot width, which by the time the trees grow or bushes grow up and out, then, you'd have enough screening, I think. So,
That would work with me. Could I get more clarification on exactly what outdoor storage? And so the reason behind my question for that is, we plan to have a mulch yard and rocks and, just how the things that come generally with landscape operations. Is that something that is included in
Talking about
that
number
condition? I'm sorry?
Talking about number 12.
We're still at 3.
3.
Yes, sir. We've got a ways to go.
Outdoor
Outdoor
storage,
storage is pretty broad.
pretty broad.
Where would this be, where would like your rock and mulch and all, down at that shed?
Yes, ma'am, great question. So as of right now, we anticipate that to be in between those 2 green squares.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am, to sort of break that up. Because our intention is to have the landscape shop, although it's going to be visible, we don't want it to be inviting to the public. So we have plans to kind of cut that off, and in between the two, that is where our mulch yard and our loading docks for plants and trees will be, to kind of break that up.
well, I think if you go back to, I guess, looking at it as a theory of the land use being an Ag 5 zoning, if it was being used as a farm, then you're looking at an open field that is natural in a sense that it's open space. And now a nursery is going to be more of a commercial use, although it's a commercial use that is in line with an ag use. And so the screening I apologize about that. So the screening provides some breakup in what you're viewing it adds a more natural look into the commercial property. So it's not, right, you're just looking at a rock pile that may be somewhere in an industrial area or a lot of trucks that just sit there. And so visually, that's breaking that up. And so I think if you really probably just put a buffer along the Veterans Memorial Parkway side, and we're not trying to hide it. I'm not suggesting we totally hide the installation of it, but just where you have some natural appearance in there with the development.
There appears to be some natural buffer trees there. Would they be cut down? They would hide, so they would screen it.
Where is this?
If you're talking within the green squares where you're talking, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, see, there's a little bit of buffer in front of it, trees and natural vegetation there.
I think that's probably a bit deceiving. It's a pretty wide open area. Yes, ma'am. But I would just add to that, your natural buffer look, you'll certainly be getting that by a nursery operation, generally speaking.
Right, yeah, right. But, if you leave a loader out to where you load the rock and things like that, a couple of trees along the property line would go a long way in breaking that up where it's
Sure.
not just an open view into the operations of that.
You could do a berm berm with some plants on it or something.
Yeah, kind of a low berm something would grow up. And I know you have power lines there that go across, so you're kind of limited in what you can.
And I visualize there's some other companies that have used concrete walls and had the mulch and the stone inside within that. Is that something you're thinking about?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah.
But as far as outdoor storage, as businesses grow, sometimes, trucks come out of rotation and they park there. You have different pieces of equipment or whatever that, just sit on the yard. that's more along the lines of outdoor storage and, like you mentioned, the bulk material. But I've been more concerned about long-term storage of, different vehicles or implements that may or may not be used, and it taking away the appearance of, the more of a natural look as an ag.
Small tractors that with
Absolutely.
lifts that move the,
Right, yeah, that,
that.
I would totally agree with that assessment and would just ask maybe if instead of taking away from the materials that may help us earn profits, that we use that idea and break it up in different areas per se. Because that was just brought up is we do have power lines to work with, so it's going to be a challenging site as it is, but if we start throwing lots of buffers in there, Georgia Power is not even going to allow that. So we are condensed into a small little area to start with.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess our recommendation is to have some buffering of those areas, not really anything extensive, but just some plantings around those areas. But,
And again, he'll come back before us, if this is approved, he'll come back before us with a sketch plan or conceptual site plan, the actual.
if he wanted to modify where he's gonna have those locations, because I don't think technically this would be a planned development, so, I mean, we could condition it to come back to you all.
Well, I'm also in, the back of this property where, if I understand correctly, where you may have these educational facilities, you've got a pond right beyond that. What will you use to buffer, or would be a fence to separate that?
Okay, yes, ma'am. So we're going to be acquiring the entirety of the 48 acres, so I will own it. And yes, ma'am, there's already a natural hedgerow of camellias alongside there, basically where that red line is on the most westerly side of that plat. And we're just going to continue that hedgerow to block it off. And so there'll be a complete separation there. No customers will ever have access outside of the red lines.
Will make it more solid,
Absolutely.
because I knew it was kind of broken.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it is, it's exactly right. Once you start getting about halfway in the middle part of that pond where you could see, it gets a little more open, and that is our intent, is to continue that hedgerow on down.
And right now, that's the primary access within your sketch there for that tower, that communications tower.
That is another issue that we are dealing with, yep. So there's also conditions that we'll have to face with planting actual borders and hedgerows and whatnot, so. But that tower you can see is just south of the furthest
Like you have to
southern.
access right through the middle of where y'all are gonna be building.
I'm sorry?
But it looks like the access to that tower
Yep.
is right in the middle of where y'all are trying to.
It is, yes, ma'am. Well, not in the middle, but it's on the edge, yep.
All right, other than that, all other conditions you've read?
No, ma'am, I have some other questions. I would like to know where we stand with that particular condition before.
I mean, it's gotta have a buffer. I think we all agree on that. And it'll be up to James at that point to figure out what kind of buffer. Whether it's 2 rows of plants or screen fence.
What has to have a buffer exactly?
I think he's talking about shielding the, mulching area. That's what you're
The
addressing?
mulching, just the mulching spot?
Stone or whatever, mulching, yeah.
And anything visible from the road is gonna have some kind of buffer. If you're gonna park 20 trucks in the back, whether it's some small trees or small plants or whatever, like James was saying, to break up the look of a truck parking lot.
Yeah, it's kind of to,
Yeah, come on, Krista, stand up and identify yourself.
I'm Krista Powell. I'm Brian's wife and business owner with him. So I think that there might be a little bit of confusion about this back end that we do want to do stuff with. Yes, there will be, he calls it outdoor storage. I just want to clarify, it's where our employees would come in. It's where they would put everything back at night. It would be a nice area. So there's not going to be just trucks everywhere. They would be parked in a row. They would be even. It would not be, I completely understand what you guys are thinking, that it could be a little bit chaotic. It could look a little bit unorganized. It would not be like that at all. It would be very organized. It would be very clean. And it would be where, I know you're speaking of loaders and stuff in the evenings. All of that stuff would be put back at the end of the evening. So if you've ever been to our nursery now, it's the same way now. We don't leave just equipment laying around everywhere. You might see a box truck that's in front. That is done very purposefully because it's a great advertising tool for us to show that we deliver plant material around. So we would not have anything that would be on the front because, again, that would not be super aesthetically pleasing. And the way that the idea that we have in our head is what you would see from the road mostly anyway, would be this beautiful plant material, kind of like we showed in our pictures. So while yes, there would be a mulch yard, there's not gonna be, 10-foot tall walls or 20-foot tall walls that are gonna be where the mulch is. I think we were looking maybe at like 6.5 foot tall that would hold the mulch and stuff. Again, that's not something we specialize in, so it's not something that we're gonna need tremendous amounts of space for. So we're not talking massive amounts of like rock yard or anything. We're speaking more of, small quantities for homeowners to use in their own landscaping purposes and needs. So I just wanted to clarify that a little bit, that we do have a plan for it not to look just messy. We want this to be visually very aesthetically pleasing. We plan on using, very high-end pebble rock material throughout our entire nursery that will just, it'll look like an oasis, and that's what we're working towards. So I just wanted to, kind of clear up some of that because I understand that it can be confusion. And yes, we do have power lines that run almost diagonally across. We cannot plant any plant material, tree material under there that is going to grow above, I think it's 8 feet tall is what we've been informed by Georgia Power. But 8 feet tall would 100% hide anything that we needed to hide. And we're very knowledgeable about the things that would need to go there in order to do that. And then in the forward portion of that, just imagine heaven. And that's what we put there. So that helps a little bit.
All right, so we need to add a buffer to number 3, some kind of wording to number 3.
Sounds like she's good with the buffer.
Have you been to their nursery, existing nursery? All right, so you see. So we,
Okay. So 5 and 6, we fully support maintaining a high-quality appearance. We would like clarification on whether engineered fiber cement, also known as hardy board, could qualify as a primary exterior material if used appropriately, as it is a high-end, durable, and commonly accepted finish.
I think we could add that on there. I would agree with that. We had looked at the natural wood because I figured, a lot of the nursery have different types of natural wood look, but I had not thought about the hardy board going there. But yeah, that is an upgraded material.
And the color
Yes,
scheme
sir.
that we plan, it will be very dark green like this, so it will also blend into the environment. It won't be something atrocious popping back out at you.
So we can change number 5 to add hardy board.
Okay.
What on 6?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they were just kind of integrated together. All right, number 14, access restrictions. We would appreciate clarification on this condition, particularly how it relates to access approvals that may fall under GDOT jurisdiction. So that's mainly just a question. If, I didn't know you guys determined that. I thought it was just a GDOT deal.
That section may be restricted access
Yeah,
anyways.
I'm thinking you have to make application for that, and then they would ultimately give you the end response of it.
Right, yep.
Yeah. So it's not like we can have that jurisdiction unless y'all got something that says we.
Well, that's my question exactly, is if GDOT approves it, the county says no, so that's odd.
What's the basis for that?
Well,
Or you could
I
say
think
access
our-
points,
our desire typically from the county has been to reduce curb cuts on that type of highway anyway, so that's just a control point onto Pulaski Highway that, again, we can plan for traffic going into that intersection, but, I mean,
but if
It's
GDOT
not necessarily
If they've applied and GDOT approves it, then that's contradictory to what our ordinance says, so who takes precedence?
Honestly, because you're in a right turn lane right there anyway. I can't imagine they would. And if you did, it'd be a right in, right out, it would be prior to the right turn lane.
Yeah, that's what I was anticipating was a right in, right out.
It may only be a right in.
Huh?
It may only be a right in.
Yeah, that would be fine as well. Yeah,
So they're getting us gonna be up to GDOT to make that determination.
correct.
so do y'all desire to have access onto the?
But potentially, and it certainly would not be a cross. It would just be either a right in or a right in, right out. But certainly not looking to make an additional
No.
intersection whatsoever.
I would say it'd be, at best, it's probably right in only. And it'd have to be in advance of the taper beginning in that right turn lane, and then based upon speed conditions, things of that nature is what GDOT.
And see, the way that the power lines run, the power line actually crosses about 3/4 of the way down, so it would have to be past that anyway.
Is there a pointer
to make
that you
that right
could, that
turn.
Krista could use? Do we have one here?
You don't like me just waving?
I would,
It's a little, no, it's just a little
Ron,
distance, we can't.
I don't know that it makes that much of a difference to us, but, I mean, again, for most part, being consistent in our recommendations, we've been trying to limit curb cuts into those type of highways, so if GDOT wanted to give it to them, I guess that would be on them, but
I would just delete the condition because I think it is in GDOT's jurisdiction. I
GDOT.
mean, do they take local government's preferences into account, Ron, or?
No.
Okay, well, then I would just delete it.
Delete number 14 completely.
Okay.
That's what you're
well, I
saying.
mean, I do believe this board has, if the condition is on there, then yeah, that's a definite, no, you can't go there, so, but yeah, if y'all want to leave it to GDOT, then that's fine.
Unless approved by GDOT.
So there's no point.
We can't approve one, we can't really
Let's
disapprove.
just take out 14 altogether. So they can't put it in without GDOT approval.
Mr. Akins, is that your advice as well? Just to remove item.
That's what I would recommend, yeah, because I think it's up to GDOT on a state highway.
Great, thank you. So in speaking with Ms. Deloach earlier today on number 15, the native plant requirements, I think she clarified, but I would just like to also hear that from you all as well. But I think that the condition on number 15 is intentionally or intended for actually planted plants for new developments. So since we are a nursery, I think that we might request to delete that because we obviously sell non-native plants, so I would not want any confusion from anyone if that condition happened to stay. Even if someone was talking about the plants being in the ground and permanent.
What about the second part of that? The number 1 grade American Nursery and Landscape Association standards.
Well, we do that regardless, so yes, ma'am, that's fine.
Every single nursery wholesaler that we receive our plants from, they come with a certificate where, to make sure that everything is, we get a lot of stuff from out of state, so it's all permitted and.
And Ms. Deloach, I think you, if you want to add to it and clarify, but wasn't this more of a, in terms? Yeah, it's more in terms of a established planting.
Yeah.
So if you guys can, yes, ma'am, correct. So you might could just even reword it just a little bit, saying permanent shrubbery versus just native plants in general.
Well, I think, Mr. Loach, you said it's pretty much already clear in the ordinance that it's just what's planted, correct? It has nothing to do with what he's selling.
Inventory.
So I'd say we just leave it,
Just leave it and then that just,
if it doesn't cover his inventory.
Well, it doesn't state that it doesn't cover it.
The permanent plants.
I think we're worried because we actually sell the things, we don't want someone.
Yeah.
to later
we'll
and
add
they
permanent
can't
in there, all permanent plant material.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Permanent plant.
permanent planted, yes.
Permanent plant material.
At this property.
That would be well appreciated. All right, number 18, the signage. We understand the limitation to a monument sign and would like confirmation of the size and height restrictions under the ordinance. Given the site's elevation relative to the bypass and the speed of traffic along that corridor, we are requesting consideration for a slightly larger or taller sign.
So you'd have to come back
And get a
with a
variance.
variance later.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't change that now.
That's why I thought that's what it was, but I didn't know if we could just kill that with one shot.
That's a different agenda
It would
item.
it'd be good though. All right. But that concludes all of my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, are there any questions, well, Brian, are there any questions?
Yeah, do
Other
you
questions
have
for
any?
Mr.
Sorry.
for Mr. Powell? Mr. Connor, you have a question for Mr.
I
Powell.
don't have a question. I didn't sign up to speak, but I'm representing the, Russian family on this deal, so I would like to add a couple of things if I could.
All right,
Would that be possible?
okay, all right, hold it, Brian, sit back down, and
Yeah, I
we'll
can
call you
yield
back
that.
up if we have a
No, no,
question.
go ahead and ask the
Jack
question.
Connor is normally speaking. Jack
Well,
Connor,
there's a couple of things I want to add
Yep.
to it.
And do y'all have any questions before I yield?
and we may call you back up, but we're good, but I think we
Okay.
got it. Thank you, Brian.
And I did want to add, and he may be, I think he wanted to say something, but I have contacted all adjacent landowners personally, and judging by them not being here, it kind of speaks for themselves that they're in support.
Signed up to speak against.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And yes, ma'am, that's what I wanted to get to. I'm Jack Connor. I'm the broker and owner of Coldwell Banker Connor Realty, and I actually represent, this was Miss Virginia Trapnell's place, and it's been there forever, and we've had it marketed for sale. Jeff Lanier, Janet Lanier, and Stevie Russian were actually the heirs to Miss Virginia Trapnell, so we've been marketing it for a while. We did, when we first met with Mr. Pope, me and Brian did, about this development, his recommendation was to go to commercial, to upzone it. Well, in that area over there, if you remember, Miss Jean Ann, when we tried to rezone the piece across the street, across from BA, this room was packed. They were trying to put a mobile home park. No, it was what was it, Mr. Karen? It was a
Dollar General.
there was a Dollar General, and then there was a,
Park across.
not a mobile home, pretty RV park.
RV
And I
park, that's
mean,
what it
half
was.
the county showed up.
Yes.
So we came to the decision that downzoning to Ag 5 would be a lot wiser than upzoning. We went and talked to CJ Chance, Brett Henry, who all built beautiful homes behind there. They're really excited about having the Powells back there in their nursery. And so I wanted to reiterate that. And so I've dealt with this problem. This is, from what I see, the best use of it. I don't see it as residential development, and I know the neighbors didn't want it as residential development. And so another thing I wanted to add, and getting to know the Powells a little bit better, if you ever visit any of their job sites, or if you visit their nursery, they're OCD as far as organization and cleanliness. I mean, they'll have something looking really good on that place right there. And as far as the separation, as far as the pond, there are two Miss Virginia's houses there, and then Miss Virginia built that pond house, and they're both still sitting there. So there are actually going to be structures there with people living there, I assume. Is that correct?
I just want to make sure you know that we have met with the neighbors and the neighbors are totally in support.
So people are living in Virginia's house right now
Yeah, there's people living in Virginia and the pond
and in the
house.
pond house?
I don't think Miss Virginia ever slept in the house after she stayed in the pond house, didn't
She
she?
didn't. She stayed in the pond house.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry to interrupt. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. All right, if there are no more questions, we'll entertain a motion of recommendation.
Make a motion to approve with all the changes and
If
conditions.
we-
I'm assuming that Missy's written them all down.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, second, well, we've got 2 seconds, Mr. Chandler, and, all right. No more questions then? Is, all those in favor? All right, we will, send a vote of recommendation of acceptance to the county, April 7th, 5:30, this room. Thank you. Do we have any other business we need to attend to or not? If we do not, then we have a motion of, Mr. Pope, do you want to say something?
Well, I was just going to mention that Monday and Tuesday of next week, I'll be traveling to Duluth to go to the Georgia Planning Conference. It's a one-day spring conference, I guess, but, so any new ideas or things that we'll look and see how that
You will bring back to us.
bring back some stuff to you. But we are currently in a moratorium for rezoning of residential zones, so R80 down to your R3s. We have the moratorium in place. I believe, Jeff, is it in May? We'll have a public hearing for that.
The May 5th meeting, and they may extend it.
And so if, we'll have a public hearing at the May 5th meeting, of which the commission may extend that moratorium. Really, we're going to take the opportunity to try and, as things have come up since our last text amendment, I have a whole board that, you know, as you administer an ordinance, you kind of find the loopholes that others find. But we'll probably bring a few items to you all for approval, you know, next couple of months. And then we also have a moratorium in place for data centers, which I believe everybody here went to the Georgia Zoning Administrators Conference, where we learned more about data centers. And so I'm working now to put together a draft ordinance, and that'll come to y'all at some point.
Has anyone seen the commercials they're airing now about data centers?
I have not.
I have, that tickles me, and how they're all closed loop, and they're really nice things to have.
So, yes, and it can be a controversial topic, so we're just trying to learn. And there may be, and I don't have anything definite, but maybe opportunities to have a field trip to see some of the data centers around. And so obviously I'll include you all on that if possible. And last thing I'll mention is Ms. Jean Ann was appointed today to the Development Impact Fee Advisory Committee. And that committee is soon to get underway to begin advising on the implementation or creation of an impact fee ordinance, which would set an impact fee amount to be paid with each building permit for residential, commercial, or industrial. Any of those building permit types, anything new would have an impact fee associated with it. But we have some work to do to get there, and ultimately you can do all the work, and then if the commission still has to pass the ordinance to make it legitimate. So long way to go, but I just wanted to mention that Ms. Jean Ann was going to represent this board on that committee.
Construction folks on there too, like
Uh,
Keeley.
You can name.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember the name? They were all appointed this morning, right?
That's correct. We appointed 7 members. Marcus Toole from Habitat for Humanity, Caroline Nelson from, I believe it's Bullock First Bank, Keely Fennell with Neesmith Construction, Paul Newman with Statesboro.
It's a realtor.
Yeah, Statesboro Properties, okay. Frank Davis, he's a retired surgeon. Kathy Todd, who's a retired CPA and local government finance director. And then Ms. Jean Ann as representative from Planning and Zoning Board. So that's 7, right? Yeah. So we'll have some things to report back as that goes along too. So just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second and a second. All those in favor?